I did level up my style just by decluttering my wardrobe and learning from that. So let's chat about some of the things that I said goodbye to.
Hey, are you awake? Are you awake? Look at that little face! I love you. Good morning. Look at me doing my chores.
You can't just come and go, okay? You've got to pick a spot today. Mom's got lots of work today. You know, one of the things I chatted about this week is why I don't want to declutter my wardrobe right now. But I will say that but I do want to chat about how I instantly leveled up my style when I first started decluttering my wardrobe. Well before I bought any luxury pieces. The first point of business was definitely to get rid of anything that made me feel uncomfortable for any reason. Just anything that made me feel either physically uncomfortable or emotionally uncomfortable. Just anything I didn't like, anything that was itchy, anything that was too tight, anything where the fabric felt wrong. But I also instantly started learning from what I was decluttering. So this is the crucial part, and I think a lot of decluttering videos sort of don't go into the fact that what you're really trying to do is you're trying to learn, right? Because you don't want to declutter your whole wardrobe and then instantly go back to purchasing the same sorts of things. So you've got to learn from this decluttering process. So very early on, I started keeping a kind of journal about what I was getting rid of and why I was getting rid of it, which I definitely recommend that you do. I would also recommend that for a time when you're first decluttering, hold on to anything that you have decided you're going to get rid of. Once you have a good collection of things to look at, I would actually, before decluttering, before saying goodbye to those things, I would do a wholesale analysis of everything you've got. So maybe just spend half a day taking all the things that are definitely going out of wherever you've kept them, out of the bags or the boxes, and actually like put them into piles, put them into categories of, you know, maybe the types of clothing that they are, or maybe even put them into the categories of why you want to get rid of them. You know, maybe you could have a pile of things that are uncomfortable, a pile of things that aesthetically is wrong about them, and sort of take notes on that, because that really will help you learn. As you go through life, you sort of learn to like new things with new trends, and most of us, we get to a certain point in our lives where we have this huge collection of things in our psyche that we like, you know, different genres of things, for example, and it might be a good idea to question why you like those sorts of things, and whether, more importantly, whether they're going to help you in the future. There are lots of things that I really like that I just know I don't buy anymore, because I've bought those things multiple times over the years, and every time I've learnt that those things just don't get wear in my life. There's something about learning from your mistakes and, you know, just challenging yourself, because when you do walk into the shop next time and you're like, oh, I really want that kind of thing, you can remind yourself that, hey, yeah, those sorts of things are nice, they're cool, but ultimately they don't get worn in my wardrobe. thing, babe. We've had this little heat wave, and you know there are some last minute summer jobs that I've needed to take care of. You know, there are some things that just can't be done when it's cold and rainy and windy. And actually, another one of those jobs is cleaning my windows. But I do not want to tackle that right now, especially not during vlog week. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed at this point, if you haven't already, there's a video every day this week. That's a lot of editing. That's a lot of work. So yeah, no time during vlog week to wash the windows, but that's definitely something I need to do. And now a word from today's video sponsor, Squarespace, my favorite all-inclusive platform for building a web space of your own. Whether it be a creative project, a new career path, you can use Squarespace to engage with your audience, showcase your content, and sell just about anything. Squarespace has some really exciting new features such as Design Intelligence. Design Intelligence can help you build a more beautiful, more personalized website. You can now also enable Squarespace payments to manage all of your payments in one place. You can get started in just a few clicks, and Squarespace also does give you the option to use popular payment methods such as Klarna, Apple Pay, Afterpay, and ClearPay. If you are looking to express yourself or change your direction in life, look no further than Squarespace. Squarespace is an excellent place to create the web space that you need, that functions for your specific niche, that can help you make your dream a reality. And no, you do not need to know any programming languages to make this happen. The Squarespace interface is extremely easy to use, and it's very, very logical. If you would like to take advantage of 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website, please go to www.squarespace.com, start your free trial. When you're ready to launch, use this here link. A massive thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Now, I think if you're trying to upgrade your wardrobe to a more luxurious feeling and looking wardrobe, you definitely have to look at the composition of your clothing and shoes and accessories. You know, what are the items made of? How are they made? Are they made to be comfortable? Are they made to look high quality? Do they look low quality? When it comes to clothing in particular, I would say no to most synthetic fibers unless there's a specific purpose for that synthetic fiber. But generally speaking, synthetic fibers do not feel good on your body. body, they do not wear well on your body, they're not as breathable. Don't get me started. If we're talking about winter items, they're not as warm, they're not as cozy, they don't protect you from the weather as well. Potentially, if we're used to shopping quite a lot, we might have a lot of items that are not high quality, and we would do much better in having less items that are higher quality, that are made from better things. You know, if you get into the mentality of not having those things in your wardrobe, it's then a lot easier when you do have the opportunity to go shopping to say, oh, I'm not going to buy those 3 synthetic sweaters this winter. Instead, I'm going to save up that money and buy 1 really good quality cashmere sweater, for example. There is something about the mentality of understanding why you don't like something, and when you return to shopping, understanding why you're not going to add that thing to your cart again. Anything that feels cheap for any reason, shoes that aren't made of high quality products, maybe costume jewelry, things that just have crappy seams, maybe they're sewn badly, you know, they sit badly on you. Those sorts of items, definitely get rid of them. Chucky. Kiss. Anything that is the wrong mood. So we all need to mature at some point. We all need to decide who we are now, who we want to be in the future. It's best to shop for the person that you want to be in the future. I've talked a little bit before about having sort of bridging items in your wardrobe. Maybe you don't have your dream job yet or your dream lifestyle yet, but you can already incorporate aspects of that into the new things that you buy. Let's say you need something for your office job, because that's realistically what you're doing right now. But hey, in a year's time, you want to be surfing in Bali. Maybe you could be getting the kinds of things that can somehow end up being useful in both scenarios. So getting rid of the things that are definitely the wrong mood, whether they're the mood of a past you or whether they're just a scattered mood. Maybe you just have too many genres in your wardrobe. Those are all great ways to create a sense of unity in your wardrobe and a sense of consistency, which helps build more of a illusion of style and consistency, which honestly does level up your look. Like if you are consistently bringing a similar kind of a look, kind of a uniform of some kind, it doesn't have to be very specific or very precise, but you know, as long as you've got that energy of this is confidently the kind of direction that I'm going in. I think that confidence that you have within your style of selecting a more narrow approach does translate when you go out into the world. The wrong colors. Now look, this is from the perspective of someone who's not a huge fan of color and has never really enjoyed the full spectrum of color, but I'm sure even if you are a multicolorist, Is that a thing? Is that a word? I just made it up. If you're a multicolorist, there will still be, you know, combinations of colors or particular colors that just don't work for you. More importantly, you can't make them work within your wardrobe, because part of this is like, okay, let's break it down. What are we doing the colors for? Part of it is definitely like what suits your natural coloring, right? That's part of it. Another part of it is definitely mood. You know, what kind of a mood do you want to present? Because certain colors present a certain kind of mood. And the third aspect of it is coming as you. Coming as your aesthetic desire. And then finally, there's the practicalities. Like, yeah, you could like that color and that color, but practically, how do you combine those colors? You know, I've been in this situation before where there's colors that are just so beautiful. I love them, and yet I'm not able to mix them and match them with things in my wardrobe. So that's another consideration. So the color thing is a complex thing that takes some formulation, some research, some work, some play. Instinctively, you can probably figure out just from, you know, knowing what you do and don't wear, which colors are definitely wrong. And again, that's something you can take note of when you are looking at the wholesale picture of what you are saying goodbye to. Patterns. I am not someone who does well with pattern. I would love to be more of a pattern girl. I've gotten myself into some stripes these days. I can handle some stripes, which is a lot of progress, let me tell you, because there was a time where I could handle no pattern. Even if you are a person who loves pattern, there will be patterns that are more superior to others. There are patterns that will work with other items. Is the pattern too busy for you? Is the pattern too complicated for you? Does the pattern just not work with anything? Are you just someone who wants to keep things really, really simple and pattern is just not going to cut it in that sense? Keep in mind also, if you like pattern for the sense of variety, because you like a little bit of excitement, you find non-pattern boring, consider also texture. Texture is a really great way to incorporate a sense of luxury into your style. And you know, if you are someone who prefers something that looks a little more complicated, maybe it's just about finding the kinds of items that have interesting textures. Something else I definitely looked into was the consistency of my footwear. I really started with the comfort, the practicalities, you know, like what do I need shoes for? Where will these shoes carry me? Is this shoe comfortable? Is this shoe going to take me where I need it to take me practically? And I kind of honestly, in a lot of ways, started with my shoes. There have been several times where I've been building a capsule or rebuilding my wardrobe, and I've sort of started with the shoes. Finding the right pairs of shoes can really make a difference in your style. I would really do a thorough audit of your footwear, starting with the basic, most important question of comfort, but then also the consistency of your footwear, because shoes can really change the mood of an outfit. Maybe that's exactly what you want. Maybe you want a smaller wardrobe with more accessories, more shoes. I, at some point, decided that that was probably right for me, because I really like my clothing to be super simple and basic and uncomplicated. So for me, a lot of my stuff looks really similar in terms of my wardrobe. Then having different types of shoes, different types of footwear, that gives me more options, more variety, and it just means that I can stretch the same outfit to be able to wear it in different circumstances, different contexts. Getting rid of shoes that are inconsistent in terms of mood as well can be really helpful. I mean, maybe this is a situation where actually you've decided, okay, we're going to narrow down the genres in my wardrobe, but I still want a bit of that attitude of that genre, and maybe that's where the shoes come in. You know, maybe the shoes help you keep a particular kind of mood that you had to get rid of in the rest of your wardrobe. And likewise, maybe the shoes are too distracting. Maybe they speak too maybe they're too strongly of a particular genre. Something worth looking into. Another thing that I said goodbye to was makeup. Being a woman, always thought that I needed to have makeup. At some point, I got converted into thinking that I needed to play with my eyeshadow and all that sort of stuff a lot. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, when I'm not making content, I'm completely not wearing makeup. I like it that way. I live at the beach, basically. I live on the coast, and, you know, I spend a lot of time outside. I don't need makeup. I'm not someone who enjoys makeup. I don't get excited about playing with makeup. I don't want to wear layers of makeup. None of that is interesting to me. So getting rid of a lot of my makeup forced me to, first of all, get more comfortable with my face and, you know, maybe change my attitude towards my health and all that sort of stuff so my skin would look better. And actually, if you are interested in that, I have created a whole video about my face routine that I have posted to Patreon. I post a brand new video to my Patreon community every Monday. I have been doing so for years. So as soon as you sign up, you get access to hundreds of ad-free videos. The most recent video that I posted there is about some other wellness stuff. A massive thank you to my Patreon community for supporting me. I could not do this work without you. So getting rid of my makeup forced me to become more comfortable with my face and reassess, you know, whether I was eating and living in a way that was healthy enough. It also forced me to get smarter about, you know, my hair color, about my clothing color, because there are certain colors that make my skin look good and there are certain colors that do not make my skin look good, or that make me look pale or washed out and then I need to wear more makeup. So yeah, narrowing down my makeup routine and getting rid of quite a lot of makeup that I didn't want to really use has, first of all, simplified my life in the sense that my routine for getting ready is very short, very quick. And then also it removed a lot of distractions and it helped me make decisions about my wardrobe. So here's the thing, when I did some of my original decluttering, what I was left with was a very, very simple wardrobe. And while my wardrobe is a lot larger now, initially that wardrobe, that small wardrobe, that very small wardrobe gave me a real sense of freedom. I was able to play with the very basics of my style, which I built upon later. Having a very narrow range of items to choose from really helped me solidify what I liked. And for me, it ultimately came down to simplicity. What I realized at that point was that I really liked a narrow color palette. I really didn't need a lot of color in my life. I really didn't like any sorts of embellishments in my individual items of clothing. It really helped me also realize the kind of silhouette that I liked that really worked for me. Doing that initial declutter actually instantly elevated my style because I could now get to the basics of my style. So it was an instant level up of my wardrobe. And so why did decluttering my wardrobe make such a huge difference to me and cause me to start writing a blog and start doing all this work? It's because it helped me get rid of distractions. It helped me to get rid of the distractions in my wardrobe, which helped me to make things more narrow, more concrete in my wardrobe, which then ended up spreading to other aspects and areas of my life. But I could instantly see what really, really, truly worked for me, what I wore the most, what I wanted to wear the most. Getting dressed instantly became so much easier. And when I did return to shopping, it was about trying to get more of what worked for me. Just something to consider. See you tomorrow.